Today we're going to be making homemade sanitizer out of alcohol and aloe vera leaf. The first step is actually going to be to cut this end piece off, and then we're going to go ahead and clip the pointed edges off too. It's going to make it easier for you to either fillet it with your knife or peel it out with your hands and your fingernails. I recommend taking the pointed edges off because they're actually pretty sharp and they make it kind of hard to handle. And it's quite easy. There's actually a couple different ways to remove the aloe vera meat. You can fillet it and then end up scraping it out with a spoon. And I'll show you how that looks. As well as you can just cut it into pieces and just use your fingernails and run along the sides, which is probably a little bit easier, and it helps you just get the whole chunk out as opposed to filleting it with a knife. I'll do that one first. So I've done one side with my nail, and I still have the other side to go. There you go. That was done by hand. I'm just gonna put it into the food processor. It's pretty sticky. As you can tell, looks like it gets most of the aloe vera out just with your hands. I mean, I can come back in with a spoon and maybe scrape a little bit more off if I desired. I filleted this part of the aloe leaf, and all I'm gonna do, I'll need both hands for it, is come in and scrape with the spoon and just put it in there. And we'll see which method is easier and perhaps a little faster. I can tell you right now, I definitely prefer using my finger first to take it off, just because it makes such a mess to just scrape it off onto the counter first and then to put it in here. So I'm just gonna finish the rest by peeling it with my nails. I like how when you use your finger, your nails, you can just slide it off right in there. And like I said, you can go back after and scrape a little bit more if you so desired, but it looks like we did a pretty good job of getting most of it out. I've cleaned all the aloe vera off the leaf, and I just put it in a food processor. I'm just gonna blend it until it's smooth. After you've blended the aloe, I like to strain it through into a mason jar just to get any chunks that the processor may not have gotten out. It wouldn't hurt anything if it's in there. It just doesn't look as pretty when you're done to have the chunks come through. So I like to use like an old pantyhose or a sock or something like that just to get the gel to strain through. And as you can tell, it's starting to come through right now. For a cleaner hand sanitizer. Another trick I've learned is to use a mesh strainer, and that just helps, get any of the chunks out as well. It's not as thorough as a cloth strainer, but it gets the job done pretty well. You can see what it, kind of took out after straining it through. Not that there'd be anything wrong with that. It's pretty natural. So there wouldn't be anything wrong with it. It just looks prettier when it's not in there. The aloe is pretty smooth and has turned into aloe gel, which is what is sold out of everywhere in order to make the hand sanitizer. But we've made our own. In order to make hand sanitizer or an effective hand sanitizer, it needs to be at least 70% alcohol. We have 99%, so we're good there. This recipe calls for 2/3 cup of alcohol. So I'm just gonna use my little funnel and pour that in. We're going to be using 1/3 cup of the aloe gel. And because I have such a large container, I'm going to be doubling, possibly tripling up the amount that I put in there just to fill the jar up completely.